Thank you so much for tuning in to Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. I am music producer Achickwitbeatz.
And I'm entrepreneur Breezy Gipson.
And we're glad that you're with us today. We got another show lined up for you with beats by myself, Achickwitbeatz, and of course, there's tons of music industry news, lots of stuff going on. We'll try to cover as much of the important stuff as we possibly can. And as always, we'd like to send a super shout out to our home stations, Grander Radio out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Sparks Radio out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, I mean they've been pumping us up now for a minute. So,
Yeah,
we always got to shout them out.
Yes, and it's been much appreciated. So yeah, without any further ado, I say we just go ahead and get it started.
Yes, let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Hey, family, this is Breezy Gipson, social media influencer. If you're an aspiring artist or if you're a seasoned professional music artist and you have a music video that you want to share with a global television audience, your search is over. Whether it's jazz, rock, hip hop, Latino, gospel, pop music, country, house, techno, reggae, Hispanic, and other genres, this is the right spot. Whether you're located in the United States, Europe, Africa, South America, India, Mexico, Asia, Australia, Italy, or other countries, we got you covered. Contact me at getsparksnow@gmail.com. That's GETSPARKXNOW@gmail.com, or leave me a message at 678-632-2620. Let's get it together.
Hey, this is Achickwitbeatz. I am a multi-genre music producer and strategist to indie artists and labels. Visit my website, Achickwitbeatz.com, for resources for artists and instrumentals available in various genres for songs, vlogs, blogs, podcasts, themes, TV, film, commercials, and more. Once again, that's Achickwitbeatz.com, ACHICKWITBEATZ. Let's make something happen.
Hey, family, this is Breezy Gipson, social media influencer. If you're an aspiring artist or if you're a seasoned professional music artist and you have a music video that you want to share with a global television audience, your search is over. Whether it's jazz, rock, hip hop, Latino, gospel, pop music, country, house, techno, reggae, Hispanic, and other genres, this is the right spot. Whether you're located in the United States, Europe, Africa, South America, India, Mexico, Asia, Australia, Italy, or other countries, we got you covered. Contact me at getsparksnow@gmail.com. That's GETSPARKXNOW@gmail.com, or leave me a message at 678-632-2620. Let's get it together.
Hey, this is Achickwitbeatz. I am a multi-genre music producer and strategist to indie artists and labels. Visit my website, Achickwitbeatz.com, for resources for artists and instrumentals available in various genres for songs, vlogs, blogs, podcasts, themes, TV, film, commercials, and more. Once again, that's Achickwitbeatz.com, ACHICKWITBEATZ. Let's make something happen. All right, we're back with music industry news. First off, Triller owes over $23 million to music rights holders, and they don't have the cash to cover it. Meanwhile, they've just gotten rid of 200 million bot accounts. But despite these challenges, they're still trying to get an IPO, which is an initial public offering. So, yeah, they're still planning a direct listing on the New York Stock Exchange this year, despite multiple legal issues and financial volatility. But as of September 30th last year, it incurred music licensing related payment obligations totaling $23.6 million. So Triller used its supposed 633 million audience size to secure more than $420 million in capital. However, since they just purged 200 million bot accounts and duplicate accounts, I mean, obviously that size isn't what they let investors know. So, that's all the information that's out there right now. But based on this info and what we've been seeing from them in the past, chances are they're going to have some more legal issues because of that. I mean, how upset would you be if you're investing in something based on saying, okay, we've got 633 million users. And then later, after the investment, you're like, oh yeah, okay, 200 million of those were bots. Like this, it's just bananas. I don't know what's going on over there. Of course, we just got to wait and see what's going to happen. But, if they do actually get this initial public offering and, they get more investors on board by going public, definitely make sure that you're checking out everything that you possibly can. Although, it appears that maybe whatever they report might not be exactly as it seems. So, always do your due diligence before investing. But I'm going to just go out on a limb and say it right now. If they get this IPO, if I were you, I'd just hold on for a bit before trying to rush to invest. Because, yeah, they've got way too much going on to be trying to accomplish something like this. And, yeah, they haven't been 100% on the up and up with all their dealings so far. And you remember the whole thing that they went through with Versus after they bought them, and Timbaland and Swiss like, yeah, we're still waiting for our money. Sony and other rights holders have been suing them. So yeah, I don't know. Of course, make your own decisions, but at this point, it'd probably be best to stay away from them. And I wouldn't touch that stock with a 10-foot pole.
Well, 200, I mean, come on. 200 million of them were bots and duplicate accounts. I mean, hey, caveat emptor.
Yeah.
Let the buyer beware. Let the buyer beware.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm willing to bet we'll have some more stories about that in the near future. All right, next up, the MLC has announced that they're auditing for the first time major music streamers. So they let streaming platforms know that the upcoming audit's going to encompass all the usage data from the initial 3 years of its full operations, which spans from January 1st of 2021 to December 31st of last year. So all the audit expenses are going to be covered by the MLC's operating budget. And if they find that, there's been an underpayment, then the MLC will distribute the entire amount to rights holders without actually subtracting the cost of the audits. So that's a great thing. That means that they've actually been using their budget very efficiently to be able to do that, which, is always good for artists and other creators.
Well, something new happening every day. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. I also find it kind of interesting that it's on the heels of Sound Exchange being audited for the first time. So it seems like it might be a preemptive move, which I think is good on their part. So shows good faith. And hey, any money that could be owed to artists, I'm glad that they're trying to do their best to make sure that they can catch it now.
Right, I agree with you. I agree with you 1,000%. Sorry about that.
All right. Ice Spice is being sued by New York City rapper D Chambers for copyright infringement over the song In Her Mood. And so the NYC-based rapper says that he recorded a similar song called In That Mood a year before Ice Spice released hers. So his song was released on all major digital platforms in January of 2022. And it played on, the famous NYC station Hot 97. And so now he and his producer are suing her for copyright infringement, saying that she most likely heard his original song on the radio and copied it. So if he's got the proof, like he says he does, then chances are he'll probably win. I think the interesting thing to note about this is maybe she heard it and copied it, or maybe whoever she's working with heard it and copied it. So there's a chance that maybe she didn't even know herself. And so, it's a good opportunity to say that when you're working with people and collaborating, you want to make sure that their ideas are fresh too, because a lot of times people can misrepresent something as if they came up with an idea and then, you're stuck holding the ball like this. Or, like I said, maybe she knew 100% what was going on. But either way, if she did in fact copy his song, I hope that he and his producer actually get what they deserve coming to them, because creativity is key. And when you have people that are just kind of stealing ideas from that can be kind of disheartening. So if they're owed some pay for what they created, then more power to them. I hope they get it.
Yeah, well, courtroom, here we come.
Mm-hmm. All right, a new report shows that 20% of U.S. music listeners see themselves as super fans. So according to Music Watch, 39% are primarily interested in engaging with artists by listening to their music, while 20% are actually interested in connecting as super fans. So the data suggests that fans will keep streaming their favorite artists and engaging on social media, but may not necessarily contribute financially. While the report kind of had a pessimistic tone, the outlook is still positive when you consider that Goldman Sachs had actually predicted that superfan segmentation will become a $4.2 billion industry with an average of 20% of paid streaming subscribers defined as superfans of at least one artist. So, when you say, okay, 20%, man, that's 80% that, might not actually pay for what they want to listen to. But even that 20% is still worth a lot if it's going to be a $4.2 billion industry. So, of course, these are predictions, projections, however you want to look at it. But, they're kind of well versed in what's happening. So I'd say that it's probably something that you might kind of want to dig into, because, numbers do kind of mean a lot. A lot of people want to have a lot of following. They want to have a lot of people streaming it. But it's much more valuable when you actually have that connection with those fans. So they're going to be there supporting no matter what. They're going to be the ones, liking everything, sharing your stuff, buying the t-shirts, buying the actual physical copies of the music. So yeah, while of course we definitely wish that percentage was bigger, there's still a lot of money to be made out of that percentage, which is a good thing.
Yeah, to me it sounds like it. So hey.
All right, TikTok is experimenting with a feature that uses AI to create songs based on prompts. They say that the intent of AI song is for fun, not necessarily an attempt to try to create the next viral song, which is very important. So, it's more for your content that you're posting in addition to that. So currently it's only available to a select number of users. The feature uses the language model Bloom to create the lyrics based on the prompts. And then it'll pair it with music that's already in a pre-saved catalog made within TikTok. So, this is one of those things where it's intended to be a tool to go along with stuff and not to replace, which, as you know from all the other stories that we've shared, is not necessarily a bad thing. So, if we start to see that change and start to see people replacing actual music with this, then, that could be kind of bad because, of course, that's a little bit of loss of revenue from actual creators. But hey, we just kind of got to wait and see the way this thing goes, right?
Yeah, but there's a big but with that. Okay, you talk about the major platforms. Well, I'm sure I'll leave some out, but when you use TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or some of the others, in some cases they only present you a limited number of songs or music to choose from when you're making a reel or a post. And the question's been brought to me many times. Well, why isn't this artist featured amongst those artists that you choose from? I can't answer that. There are a lot of popular artists out there, and some up and coming artists who are really hitting it hard. And then when you go in there to find their music to use because you like them, you can't find them. They're just not in there. So, the big question is why? So, yeah, I understand what they're saying about, this feature to create songs, but, before you go that far, make sure you take the steps to include all of the people who are on the front line out there grinding with some hot music. And so, like I said, when it comes to making a reel or a post or whatever, and you want to use their music because you really like them, and you want to let people know that you feel that they're hot, you can't find them. So that's a big question that needs answering.
Well, actually, I'm glad you brought that up. That's kind of a twofold thing. So one, it depends on the type of account that you have on these platforms. So most of the music that's out there is available to personal users. But once you start switching to like business accounts and creator accounts, then that's when the payment gets a little fuzzy. And so if people are actually using that music to promote their own stuff, then the artist needs to be compensated differently. And so that's where like some of the licensing and agreement stuff comes in. And another reason why you want to make sure that however you have your music distributed, that it can be used for that as well. So that's kind of twofold. One, on the user that wants to put the music in the video, and then two, for the artists to make sure that it's available and that they're actually getting their just due. Because, if you think about it, you've got these business and creator accounts, and while some of them may be people like you and I, this also includes like major companies. So just imagine getting the same percentage of royalties for, let's say, I'll use myself as an example. Let's say you put one of my songs in one of your reels, Breezy. That's different from, let's say, maybe AT&T coming and then doing it. You know what I mean? So that's when the compensation needs to be different. So that's why they kind of pick and choose which songs that creators get to use, or business accounts. You know what I mean?
Okay, I read you.
Yeah. So yeah, it's twofold and definitely something to be aware of. So I'm really glad that you brought that up. There's a little more freedom with some of the personal accounts and even some of the creator accounts compared to business. But yeah, it does get kind of hairy when you look at it like that. So, and I agree, that's still something that needs to be addressed because they don't actually make that information known. And so before trying to urge everybody to switch the type of accounts they have, why not inform people, okay, well, once you do this, then, okay, you might not have access to everything that everyone else does, or even on the opposite end, to let the music creators know, hey, these additional opportunities exist for your music to be used. Do you want to opt into this? So yeah, it's definitely something that the platforms can control and make sure that people know. And I agree, they should definitely be doing that before trying to go the AI route. But Everybody, it's kind of like the hot thing in the moment, the same way, NFTs were buzzwords for a while. So everybody's just kind of focusing on making sure that they're not the last to the AI party. But you're right, they definitely need to address those things first.
Gotcha.
All right, Beat It App has announced new partnerships with Sound Exchange and Napster, as well as a strategic collaboration with Universal. So in 2023, apparently they had achieved a bunch of significant milestones by analyzing more than 2 billion streams, more than 2 trillion streams, and 20 trillion data points. So they successfully obtained key clients and secured 17 million in funding, and the investment they say is going to be allocated to hire senior leaders, expand data science and technical teams, and venture into new markets including Asia, India, and Europe. So this is good because if they can help detect streaming fraud, then that means more money for creators who are actually doing the work and getting the streams instead of people who are manipulating it and doing all this other stuff. So, hey, more success. We definitely wish to them for what they're doing. And yeah, we hope that we can kind of combat that. So this is good news.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Jeremiah has sold his music assets to Hard Review Equity Partners. The singer, songwriter, and producer sold his 3-album catalog for an undisclosed sum. But if you notice, Hard Review Equity has been one of the first private equity firms that's been kind of delving into the R&B hip hop music asset sector. They've already acquired tracks by Nelly, Wiz Khalifa, and even the publishing catalog of the songwriting and production duo Dre and Vidal. So, if you're not aware, Hard Review Equity is actually fronted by a Black woman. And so I find it kind of interesting that she's making sure that these artists are getting included in all these buy-ups that we've been hearing from, a lot of the major labels and whatnot. So, I did think personally, and this is just my own thing, that Jeremiah was an interesting choice. But that means that, hey, now we're going to start seeing this stuff in more opportunities, I guess, because anytime that these firms actually snatch these up, if you notice, that's when you start hearing in commercials and maybe even when you're watching sports, you can kind of hear stuff playing in the background. So they got this stuff going, and so yeah, I'm excited that R&B and hip-hop is actually starting to be more included in this, and I think it's great what she's trying to achieve here.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly because there are tons and tons and tons of vaults of music, full of music, overflowing. And that's some really good music. I mean, that's got the heart and soul of actually all music coming from some of that R&B music. So hey, and a lot of the artists from many other genres, they don't mind hiding that. Hey, we got this. We wrote this based on the strong vibe that was coming from some R&B music that you don't hear anymore. So we want to try to kind of, replicate that in our songs, so.
Right.
Yeah, this is
country is one of those big ones. I mean, if you listen to most of the newer country songs that are out, it's totally hip hop and R&B. The music, the beats underlying it and everything. Yeah, you're 100% correct. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, and then, you can even go back. If you want to go back, you can go back to even the Rolling Stones. I mean, they didn't and still don't. They don't hide the fact that a lot of their music, but their concerts are still sold out. But you can fast forward to the new folks, the new scene, and they're saying the same thing.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's been kind of interesting that R&B, hip hop, the influence that it's had on the world over, and like you said, all these other genres, and yeah, I don't know, it's just something really special about having that kind of originality to where it can permeate through just about everything else.
Yep.
All right, man. Okay, this isn't the first time Madonna's been sued for something like this, but now there's a new lawsuit for her tardiness. And they're thinking that maybe this is the end of quote unquote rock and roll behavior. And so industry insiders are thinking that it might be time that artists become more respectful of their fans' time and money. So two of Madonna's fans are suing her for starting a show 2 hours late, claiming it disrupted their work schedule and left them stranded late at night due to limited transportation options and or increased transportation costs. So the lawsuit was filed in Brooklyn, and it basically asserts that the advertised 8:30 p.m. start time was delayed until after 10:30 p.m., which affected their ability to fulfill family responsibilities the next day. So they accused Madonna, the Barclays Center, and Live Nation of unconscionable, unfair, and or deceptive trade practices. And so they're saying that that's actually what should be considered a breach of contract and a wanton exercise in false advertising. So the lawsuit is basically aiming for class action status on behalf of the attendees of all other celebration shows that experience delays, and it encompasses her upcoming 2 concerts in New York in December on the 14th and 16th. So the last time that somebody had tried that, or actually it was 2 different people, they both kind of dismissed their suits. No details were given as to why, but if this actually does get class action status, it could be kind of interesting to watch to see what happens, because we just keep hearing more and more of these stories about how they're just completely late altogether, sometimes don't even show up or cancel at the last minute. What I know was recently, I can't even remember where that was, where Lauryn Hill had to cancel hers at like the last minute, and people had actually traveled. So someone, was out of the rental car money and the ticket. It was just a ton of things that they had done, hotel, everything. So, while artists are people, they have different things to deal with. Things do come up, but, fans do kind of get upset when it seems to be a habit for some artists. And, it might be time to start holding them accountable. So this is one of those things we got to wait and see what happens. Maybe this will get dropped like the other ones, but it does kind of, make you think, is this something that more people need to be paying attention to? And then even, for any of our listeners that perform as well, be considerate of the people who came to watch you. So yeah, 2 hours is a bit long, especially on a weeknight. When I was younger, I probably wouldn't have minded, but now that a chick's kind of getting up there in years a little bit, I think I'd be pretty upset too, especially trying to find transportation in Brooklyn and having a hard time. So yeah, we got to wait and see how this plays out. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh man, I can go way back. I mean, way back. And, one of the originators of that, no doubt, was the one and only Sly Stone. Oh my God. I mean, he did that. I mean, so many people were inconvenienced, not once, not twice, not 5 times. I mean, it just went on and on, to the point where people started just not even buying his, concert tickets and whatever, because he was doing it. And I mean, such an inconvenience, so.
Yeah, that's understandable. I didn't realize that had happened with him, but that's how I feel with certain artists that have that type of reputation. When I see it or find out that maybe another show was canceled or they were late again, it's like, well, what'd you expect? We keep hearing all these stories. It was different before the internet when maybe you didn't know, but now, and there's some people that, I think you'd have to pay me to go, just because I wouldn't want to be inconvenienced like that, no matter how much I love the artist. I mean, yeah, it kind of feels like a slap in the face to the fan. But yeah.
You could listen to the Sly and the Family Stone music, and it was so upbeat and pop, just make you dance and everything. But when you go to see them, oh my God, it was the complete opposite in the auspices of and never showing up on time. God, 2 and 3. I believe there was some 4 out, where half of the crowd left before, because they've been waiting for so long. So, this is crazy.
Yeah, because I even heard some jokes, regarding some of those artists, like, oh, they were only 2 hours late this time. And we always talk about how music is still a business. Yes, you can do it for the love and for the art. But yeah, if you keep disappointing people who are supporting you financially, you're running the chance of them, not being willing to do that anymore. So
Hmm. Hmm.
definitely something to consider. If you got that rock star status in your mind, apparently that's only going to go so far these days. People are getting fed up.
Yep.
All right, the EU has proposed some big changes within the music streaming industry to promote smaller artists and make sure that underpaid performers are actually being fairly compensated. So, members of the European Parliament, we're going to call them MEPs for short, but they adopted a resolution that's going to address insufficient streaming royalties and biased recommendation algorithms. And they're also kind of urging a review of pre-digital royalty rates that often mean, minimal revenue for the performers in exchange for exposure. So they're urging streaming firms to disclose AI generated tracks to try to combat deep fake music and ensure transparency in recommendation algorithms to avoid favoring major labels and popular artists. So, we see this happen all the time. If the algorithm's already promoting these big names, then that means the independents kind of get shoved down. And so now they're actually looking to do something about it. So legislation hasn't been brought forth yet, but they're heading in the right direction with that. And they're also considering imposing quotas for European musical works to kind of help promote EU artists specifically. So, hey, I think that's a wonderful thing. I wish the US would do something similar. But, we've had all these stories talking about how popular some of these major artists have been in the streaming world over there. And some of that could be because that's what the algorithm's been favoring, which makes sense because a lot of these major labels own a piece of these streaming platforms. So, who knows exactly what gets negotiated behind closed doors, but with them having to report, transparently, then we could actually find out. So kudos to the EU for doing what they need to do to try to fix this. And I hope other countries and locations follow suit soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Points well made. Points well taken.
Mm-hmm. All right, the music making platform BandLab has launched a sync licensing program for its 60 million registered users. So they launched a distribution service for its users back in November, and now BandLab is licensed, or excuse me, it's actually called BandLab Licensing, is going to offer the sync opportunities for film, TV, games, and advertising. So basically, they're building off of what was already there for Reverb Nation's sync licensing platform, but now they're kind of rolling that into the fold. And since they purchased it back in 2021, just for anybody that may not remember or might not have been listening back then, but yeah, so makes sense to kind of utilize the tools that were already there to give users additional opportunities. Of course, that means you got to pay a little bit more, but if it's something that's worth it to you, which in most cases it can be, why not give it a shot?
Yeah, why not?
All right. Anthropic has fired back at the music publisher's AI copyright lawsuit. So we shared this, I believe it was somewhere in October, but they fired back saying Google, Amazon, and all the everything that they're saying is basically just they think that they're being paranoid. So if you recall, they said that they think that Anthropic was using their lyrics and material to be able to feed their system called Claude, the chatbot, to give lyrics to people who entered the prompts. And so the publisher said that they infringed on their copyrights and lyrics from 500 songs, but they're basically saying, you know what, prove it. We haven't done that. And if you ever found any glitch like that, that's all it was the glitch. That's not what we're doing. And normal people wouldn't use the bot in that fashion. And they also said that they actually brought it to the wrong court. So, it could get dismissed based on that alone, or, hey, we just got to kind of see how this plays out. But I've always felt like, since we've been talking about this type of stuff, that it's probably happening, but I think to prove that it's happening would be very, very challenging. So, this is something I'm personally going to be keeping an eye on because, I mean, this could be huge if, they actually are found guilty. But if not, it could actually be huge the opposite way if they aren't, because that means that more people can probably do it and get by with it. But yeah, this is one of those wait and see things. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Man, you know what? I mean, there are so many. You know what? A lot of these situations have just come about. Some of them are frivolous. Some of them are hardcore. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's when the publishers cannot prove irreparable harm, is what they're arguing, and that the lawsuit was filed in the wrong court. Yeah, that sounds like it came from their legal team, of course. Um, but there's so much going on. There's so much, we have to slow down just to smell the roses these days. We just have to see how it flows.
Yeah, because if that is considered as a fair use, I mean, some of the stuff that's available on the internet could be training it, but yeah, they'd have to prove that they specifically did it that way on purpose. So yeah, that's a lot to prove, and yeah, just like you said, it's a lot going on, so much going on.
So much going on. Hey, can we just smell the coffee? Can we just smell the roses? Can we just feel the sunshine? You know what I mean?
Right.
But there's always going to be point versus counterpoint. I mean, everywhere you go, there's point versus counterpoint, and that I guess that's part of the life that we live these days.
Yeah, yeah. Because honestly, I could see it going either way. So yeah,
Mhm.
I can't call it. All right, YouTube layoffs are going to affect about 100 employees as the company's reorganizing music and other media teams. So yeah, they're undergoing a lot of changes. The music teams are going to be consolidated into a single team, reporting to Leora Cohen, the global head of music at Google and YouTube. Additionally, the video streaming service is going to be merging its TV, film, and sports media teams into a unified group. So the creator management teams at YouTube are going to be centralized with dedicated leadership in each country. And these changes are coming across, at the same time with a broader trend in layoffs in the tech sector, with nearly 7,800 already being lost so far this January. I mean, lots going on. It's been affecting companies like Amazon, Apple, Twitch, Google. And the shift in the industry appears to be driven by all these companies prioritizing AI technology, as everybody's trying not to be the last to the party, as I mentioned earlier. So, last year, same thing kind of happened. That's how it started. But that was because of capital. And, technically this year it is too. But yeah, they might have the capital, but now they want to focus more of it on what's happening with AI in the tech sector. So, we just got to see what's gonna go on, and if they're all making these big bets that's gonna affect their companies like that, then that means that it's here to stay, regardless how you feel about it. But just kind of something to be aware of. So yeah, everybody's betting big on AI right now, even at the cost of some jobs.
Well, one thing about it, Lear Cohen, who's the global head of music at Google and YouTube, man, he probably doesn't sleep because there's such a shift going on. I mean, at all hours of the day, morning, night. I mean, talk about somebody that's got to keep a hand on all of this stuff that's flowing through. Wow, you know, um, I'm sure. Well, I hope that he's being compensated properly. Probably is, but whoa, that's a position with a lot of responsibility right there.
Yeah, well, I mean, considering his past, he's usually kind of more like the brains behind it to have someone else push the button. So yeah, I'm sure he gets to sleep just fine. But yeah, there's a lot going on. But yeah, I mean, all these companies are being hit hard. And so, yeah, we hope a lot of them, by the way, so even though these layoffs are happening and all this restructuring, some people will be able to get shifted. So, yeah, it's not all negative, but yeah, it's definitely pointing to where the trend is heading. And yeah, AI is going to be a huge factor in the industry for quite some time.
Quite some time. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right, that does it for music industry news and, this particular edition of Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. Once again, we thank you for joining us, tuning in, telling your peeps about us. We definitely appreciate it. We appreciate our home stations, Grander Radio out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Sparks Radio out of Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm looking forward to next week. I mean, who knows what kind of news stories are going to roll out in between time, but guess what? We're going to do our best to make sure we pick from the cream of the crop to share with you.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, there, some of the hashtags that are floating around on Earth today, concerning music production, music participation. I mean, copywriting, songwriting, oh,
Mm-hmm.
concerts. I mean, being paid right.
Yeah.
So, stick and stay right here because these stories right here educate you to a higher level. A lot of the folks are just running, recording music and they're in their own little world, but, they're not really grasping these news items that are happening every day. So this is the right spot. So don't miss out.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So until next time, you know where to find us. Tune in, tell a friend. We'll see you then. Peace.
Peace.